Stack. Hello, ladies and gents. Today I'm your tour guide, and many of us have probably seen or heard about the pyramids in Egypt. But many might not know that these pyramids are found all over the world, even in some of the remote areas in our world. Although these things are widely known, they leave architects still puzzled about the mysterious details that follow these pyramids. That brings us to what we'll be first introducing throughout our presentation. First, we'll talk about the history of the pyramids. Then we'll step into its spiritual and religious ideologies. We'll cap all of that off with the brain teasers that stuns even the smartest scientists today. Now come with me to the biggest pyramids believed to be made in 2550. National Geographic states Pharaoh Khufu was the one who ordered the build, and it took him around 20 years to finish. It was believed to be a tomb for him and how he was going to safely travel over to the afterlife. Khufu's son, Khafre, also built a pyramid following his father's, which included the Great Sphinx. It was aligned with his head carved into it, as you see here. Khafre's pyramid was a little smaller than his father's. It was 450 feet tall, but it was built on an incline. It was built ahead on an incline, which made it look bigger than his father's. Many of you might be wondering, why such big arguments just for a tomb? Your questions will not go unanswered. Now, these are only two, since many pyramids followed these pyramids after and before the build. There are actually 118 pyramids in Egypt. But interesting enough, we have more pyramids in Sudan than we do in Egypt. There are 200 pyramids in Sudan, but they're generally smaller, as you can see here, than Egypt. The first one ever made was in 700 BC, and it stands around 200 feet tall. The name of this pyramid was Saqqara, and 9 out of 10, this is a dope name, and I could probably name my daughter out of it. The pyramids of Sudan rest 30 kings, 8 queens, 3 princesses. As we talked about the one that's widely known, we should probably talk about the first one that was ever built. The Pyramid of Saqqara, which was made in 2650 BC in the 3rd dynasty of King Dusor. Now, the pyramid he ordered to build was less complex and smaller than the ones that was in Giza. It was around 200 feet smaller than the ones that were after his. As we step into this, you probably want to understand more about the religious ties, since they tied so much into the building of these pyramids. The interesting enough is the pyramids of Giza lying directly with the Orion's belt, the constellation. Also, the Egyptians were polytheistic. They believed in many gods, but one God overall. Many people often get it misunderstood that they built the pyramids because they're gods. But as we stated before, this was for their pharaohs and how they safely travel over to the afterlife. They were deeply in tune with nature and the cosmos. The travel states the goddess Seth killed his own brother, which shows how evil their gods and goddesses were. Many of these stories, like the god Seth, were wrote in hieroglyphs, and there were over 1,000 different characters of these hieroglyphs. These hieroglyphs were translated so we can take a dive into this mysterious history. It is really surprising for early civilization that they had over that many characters in their language. Very unique from the ones that followed before them. As we continue to step up the pyramids of information, we can step towards the brain teasers, which leaves even the smartest scientists stunned to this day. Something I would like to get you thinking about first is how these civilizations were allowed to build these pyramids, since each block you see weighed 2.5 tons, which is equal to 5,000 pounds. It was also stated that there was able to have a piece of paper sliced directly between the blocks and stand straight up. It was that accurate. There was also stated in the Briatica com article that in Kheops pyramid, there was a king's chamber that had a swivel door, which weighed 20 tons, which equals 12,800 bricks. It was also stated that in the Briatica article that the pyramids were covered in limestone and also had a gold cap. That means it would have shined so bright that it would have been able to see from space. There are a couple theories. You guys might be stuck on how they actually moved these blocks since they were so heavy. And there are a couple theories that ties into this. One of them was combined with the system of pulleys and wheels to wheel the blocks. But this doesn't add up because it would have taken them over 50 years to, it wouldn't be accurate enough to place up with the blocks. Another theory suggests that they use wet sand to drag the blocks. But this theory would have taken them over 50 years to complete. Now, there's also some other facts that leave us wondering. If you look at the pyramid's height times feet, it equals the speed of light, which is no, not the speed of light. If you times the pyramid's height times feet, it equals the miles it takes to travel around Earth. Now, if you look at the pyramid's coordinates, the latitude of it equals the speed of light, which is crazy seeing how the speed of light wasn't discovered until 1675. This isn't the only interesting fact, seeing how the pyramids line up with direct true north. Hopefully, I've left you guys confused and puzzled on one of the most interesting parts of the tour, because many tourists say that is their favorite part. As we step back down the pyramid to conclude our tour, I hope you guys, oh my God, I hope you guys didn't step past the history of the pyramids, of the amazing Egyptians, to not forget the religious and spiritual ties that ties into the pyramids, and to leave you guys all wondering the brain teasers that hopefully stunned you guys all today. Thank you guys for coming on the tour. Have a great day.